Kori Rumore here from the Chicago Tribune, and the obvious question we have for Kori Rumore is, where have you been?
Where have you been?
Hi, friends. I'm back from California.
Well, that's not that far away. What took so long?
I know, right?
What'd you walk?
We had to get out of town before the Bears take over our family household for another season. So, yeah, but it's good to be back. I've missed you guys. How have you been?
Well, we missed you. We didn't do the show when you were gone.
Yeah, it was done.
We just shut it down.
Every Tuesday, we're like, forget it. Kori's not here.
Yeah. Or Mondays. Either one.
Or today's, it's today Monday?
We just shut it down. All right, so we're going to get to Tom's review of the Barbenheimer double feature, but you want to talk Oppenheimer? Let's talk Oppenheimer.
Let's talk Oppenheimer because I haven't seen the movie yet, but I've seen the preview about 5 times, and I believe there is like a fraction of a second where they show something that happened in Chicago because Chicago had a role in the birth of the atomic age. So I thought I'd quiz you guys about that.
Go ahead, we're ready.
All right. Okay. So the Manhattan Project, this is U.S. scientists, government officials getting together to try to figure out how to create an atomic bomb. The first part of that was to try to figure out how to create a chain reaction. And so Chicago was the ideal location to test that out for a couple of reasons. One, there was a huge pool of talent here. You had Enrico Fermi, who had defected from Italy, a super smart guy, a Nobel Prize winner and physicist. And then also Chicago kind of being in the middle, the general consensus was, hey, nobody's going to attack Chicago. If they're going to attack anywhere, it's going to be the East Coast or the West Coast. Okay, so here's the first question.
Okay.
On December 2nd, 1942, 80 years ago, a team gathered somewhere in the city to watch as the world's first nuclear reactor, which is called Chicago Pile 1, produced the world's first sustained nuclear reaction. Where did it take place?
The Billy Goat.
That happens every day.
Was it the Billy Goat?
That happens every day.
Okay. All right, what are the other choices?
Okay. At the bottom of Lake Michigan, A. B, inside an abandoned L station, or C, underneath an abandoned football stadium. What do you think?
Well, I mean, the leftover radiation would be problematic, so I would think it'd be in the water, no?
I don't think so.
What are you guys going with? What's your choice?
I think underneath something. You got to be
Stagfield.
Underneath the stadium?
You know this. Stagfield.
Yes. You guys are correct. James,
Did you know
right.
that?
Yeah.
Well, that was Nick.
Yes.
So what happened to the football stadium?
Okay, so University of Chicago used to have a football team. And
Well, not anymore because they melted. It's over for them.
I swear, as far as I know, no football players were injured in this nuclear reaction. But yes, University of Chicago still had this football stadium, Stagfield, that they weren't using. And so underneath there were squash courts, apparently, and that's where this first sustained nuclear reaction took place. And in fact, if you go by there now, there is a sculpture called Nuclear Energy that's outside of it. But yeah, nobody at the time knew that this was happening, and it wouldn't be revealed until the atomic bomb was dropped on Japan.
That's wild.
That Chicago, yes, that Chicago had this role. So,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting. Okay, number 2. All right. So, Steve, you kind of got into this a little bit. There had to be some sort of nuclear waste created as a result of this, and that was the case. So after this first sustained nuclear reaction, the activities were moved to another site. What's at that site today? Is it A, a forest preserve, B, a nightclub, or C, a post office?
I love it's a nightclub.
Right.
Well, because there's a lot of explosions that happen at the nightclub.
And with all the flashing lights, who would know? Well, I suppose it's got to be a forest preserve, but that's not exactly comforting either.
Right, with all the trees?
Yeah, you are right. It's a forest preserve.
And do we know which one?
Yes, we know which one, and it apparently has been cleaned up. It's called Red Gate Woods near Willow Springs. The Fermi's project leased 19 acres of land from the forest preserve to do these continued nuclear activities, but that was all shut down in 1954. In the early 1990s, the Tribune actually reported, hey, we think there's still some bad stuff on that land and it needs to be cleaned up. And as it turns out, the Department of Energy stepped in and supposedly cleaned it all up. And so it's been open to the public since 1997.
So no more radioactive waste on that site?
As far as we know.
Yeah.
It's too close to home, guys.
There's a lot of forest preserves. I maybe don't go to that one.
Right.
And it's unfair to Willow Springs. I'm just saying.
I know.
And number 3.
I know. Okay, number 3. This is a fun one. And it has nothing to do with anything except that it has the word atomic in it. Atomic cake.
Oh.
It's a Chicago dessert. And a lot of people have had it for special occasions. It was created by bakers on the South Side in the 1950s. What are its key ingredients? Is it A, strawberries, B, bananas, C, fudge, D, all of the above?
I got to go to Jane on this. What's the answer?
I have an atomic cake every single year of my life for my birthday. It's D, all the above. It's the best cake in the world, the atomic cake.
You got it, Jane. And it's something, as a North Sider, I now have embraced, and we do the same thing in our family. We just had one in May. It was spectacular. If you've never had an atomic cake, Calumet Bakery is one of the bakeries that started this tradition and still continues to produce it.
And you know, I get my atomic cakes at Orland Bakery.
Look at you both working free cakes.
I'll get you guys an atomic cake. I'll bring it in.
Well, Kori, you're fabulous as always. Now, how, pray tell, I've never asked you to plug this before. Please do it now. How do we get the Vintage Tribune?
Okay, go to chicagotribune.com/newsletters. Sign up for Vintage Chicago Tribune, and I'll be in your email inbox every Thursday afternoon.
And I know you're not here. I know you're on the phone, but what do you think of my haircut?
Oh, I'm sure it looks great. I haven't cut my hair in 3 years, so, Steve, I'm sure it looks much better than mine.
No, I'm sure you look great. Thank you, Kori.
Bye. Thanks, Kori.
It's Kori Rumore. I mean, I knew she was busy, but she hasn't cut her hair in 3 years.
I mean...
Why don't
you let yours go for 3 years? See what happens.
But we're talking about Rapunzel in her case. Is somebody carrying it around? What's happening there?